Bright Side Chronicles is about to go down with Kerri and Nana. You ready for the show to begin?
Hey, let's go. Let's get it. It's almost showtime. Let's go. Let's get it. It's almost go time. Let's freaking go.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday and happy episode 29 of the Bright Side Chronicles. It's your host with the most, Kerri Lewis, and the amazing Nana Agyemang down below, also known as, who is it? Miles Morales, right?
I guess this is the Miles Morales version, or it could just be another version of Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But I am grateful to be here to partake in this amazing conversation that we're going to have with our lovely guest.
Yes. Yeah, well, first off, shout out to me that I knew it was Miles Morales, because for anybody who follows me, they know that the depth of my knowledge with that stuff is a little. But to Nana's, Miles, Spider-Man's point, we are so honored and privileged to have this amazing guest, Yasmin Lee, joining us today to talk about what brings Yasmin joy and how discovering herself and staying in curiosity is really allowing her to not only navigate this world that we live in and the cosmic world, but also support other people in doing that as well. So super excited to
Let's go.
Being here.
Thank you for having me. This is like so amazing, and it feels like such an honor. At any chance to get to share my story is really just an honor, because all I want to do at the end of the day is just help and inspire people as much as I can.
Let's go.
Real quick to the listening audience, if you're new to the Bright Side Chronicles, Nana, why did we start the Bright Side Chronicles?
So we sat down on a cold winter's eve. No, I'm just kidding. And we came up with the idea of just talking about how there's a lot of animosity that's in the world, but how can we shift that mentality of at least an hour space of just talking about positivity, things that bring you joy, happiness, just to uplift people's moods, because you never know. Somebody might be going through a tough time during the day or whatever it is, and you hop on here, get a cool little conversation, and it's very fluid. It's not meant to be scripted or anything like that. It's just a conversation to be had. And we have amazing guests like Yasmin right over here, obviously Kerri yourself, and then myself just kind of going with the flow. But that's really basically it.
I love it. And, something that I want to add to that is, we hear so often all of the things that keep us separated. But the reality that I have come to understand from being 45 years old, working in corporate America, having a global business, is we are much more alike than we are different. And this show really is meant to highlight the joy, because when you are in joy, doing what brings you joy, you're more inclined to look for the nuances and the things that are similar about the people around you rather than the things that make you different. So
absolutely.
With that being said, Yasmin,
hi.
You were telling me that you created a panel to discuss tools and strategies with people. I call them neurospicy. You can share the listening audience how to define it, but just people who may think or show up differently than this conformed, perceived, illusionary box we're meant to fit into, to go to cons and really take care of themselves. Can you share with the listening audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this all started when I would go to conventions. I never really understood why I would have to leave so early, because I would get so overstimulated, and I never really understood why. And I was always told, oh, well, it's just anxiety and stuff like that. And I just felt like there was something more inside that was going on. And I was like, this just doesn't feel like it and stuff. And I finally did get my ADHD diagnosis last September of 2024. And which actually, little side rail real quick, that was literally 1 week later, I got my cervical cancer diagnosis. Yeah. So like it was a double whammy back to back.
Oh my
God. Yeah. Body and in your mind.
Yeah. And I don't know. And the day that I actually got my cancer diagnosis was the same day that Agatha All Along premiered, and which is like my favorite show on the entire planet. And I just, the whole thing was that like I didn't understand what was going on with me, and why I had to leave convention so early. And when I finally sat down and thought about it, and when I did get my diagnosis and really understand, okay, now I understand everything that's really going on, let me sit down and break this all down. I realized that there's, I was doing research on TikTok, like just scrolling through TikTok, and I was like, how do people cope with, both autism and ADHD? Because I'm still so new to this. So I was just flipping through, and there really isn't too many videos out there that talk about it, especially in the convention realm of it all. It's more so like, well, there's a quiet room and that's pretty much it. And I was like, well, I feel like it needs to be discussed further and deeper than just the quiet room, because the quiet rooms are brilliant, but there's so much more to it than that. And I started analyzing and thinking about everything that I do, and I just started writing things together. And I kid you not, because I don't really, my sleep schedule is just non-existent. So this was, when I tell you this was literally done at 2 a.m. between the hours of 2 and 3 a.m. I made this whole panel at 2 to 3 a.m.
But you know what? So hang on. So I want to highlight a couple things for the listening audience and to celebrate you. Yes. So often now I'm gonna preface this to the listening audience. I have a huge issue with labels, and most people know it because, and I'll tell you what, when some people are given a label, they use it as the thing that limits them. Now, I also think that if you are given a diagnosis or a label that then empowers you to take action, then that is in your highest good, and that's a beautiful gift. Right. If it's going to make it so you feel different or you play small in this world, I'm not a fan of labels. That's one thing I want to say. However, with you were given this information and you had a choice. You could have been like a lot of people, and through no fault of their own, they haven't really been taught and been victimized by the experience. Or you could have taken it, okay, this is what I'm working with. What do I need to do to navigate life with this experience? And that's what you did. And that's huge. I love that. And something you said offline is that you're constantly doing trial and error, which means you're a scientist in your own life, which I'm the same way. Nana's the same way. We don't have life figured out, but we're always curious and trying new things to figure out what's going to work for us in this moment. So that way we can be successful instead of shying away from living life. So shout out.
Shout out.
Thank you. Yeah. And I love like panels and stuff like that. And I always thought that they were so interesting. And, my beautiful wife, she was like, well, why don't you just talk about it? Why don't you make a panel? And that's kind of like how it all one thing came into it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like public speaking. I don't. Really? I get so nervous. Oh my God. Like right now, I'm pretty sure there's a puddle of sweat under my booty right now. Like I get so nervous all the time. And like even in my panels, I sweat so much. I'm like, oh my gosh.
But so here's something that I want to highlight. You know, part of living, this really is a show about joy. And part of living joyfully is continuously expanding. We're not meant to stay stagnant. If we do, we contract, right? We get smaller. If you're anxious about something and you don't face it, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And so I love that even though it doesn't come naturally for you to publicly speak, you still show up and you still like, oh, let's do this. You know what I mean? So there is so many things that really kind of embody, right, living a joy-filled life, because you don't limit yourself because of some of the nuances of how you experience life.
And I was gonna say, going back to your point, it was like you got out of your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like, people don't just like, oh, like I'm just gonna, like, a lot of people that do panels, they're great public speakers, or they're people that just can yap all day, which is okay. Like, to each his own, right? You know what I mean? So like,
not me. I even say, I'm like, I'm on my phone, but I'm looking at notes, you guys. I swear, like, it's all my notes right here.
It's beautiful though, because like it's you just getting into your own, or going into your own power, as my missus over there would say, is like stepping into your power, right? You're giving people permission to be like, hey, you know what? I have all this stuff going on, but I'm still going to put myself out there and educate people. Even the same thing with cosplaying, like, you know what I mean? Like, Kerri says all the time, like, I'll show up in a random ass cosplay, i.e. right now, and just because I wanted to. It's not like, oh, I'm at a con, I have to wear it only at a con. Bro, I'm gonna wear it wherever I want to wear it. Like, if I feel like I'm in the mood to just do something, and it's not clout chasing, it's just me just being me. At the end of the day, it's like you're doing things that allow people to be like, oh, like, he can do that, I can do the same thing. Like, what does it matter? Like, you know what I mean? So I think you hosting the panel and being vulnerable to talk about your story and letting people know, like, hey, this is what I go through. Because somebody, even if it impacts one person, that's one person's life that you might have just changed in that moment. That's the other part too, you know?
Yeah, and that's something that I always think about in the back of my head, because I've had moments myself where like a tiny little moment has like impacted me so deeply. So I'm just like, well, I know that there are other people like who have been late diagnosed and who are really struggling to figure out how to survive and manage. And there are even people out there who are nonverbal and can't really advocate for themselves. And I'm like, well, if they could maybe just like come to like a panel where I talk and they'll sit there and listen, maybe I could like help them in some sort of way. And that's really what it was all about. And the response to my panel after every single panel is just so mind-blowing each and every time. It was wild to me because at Fan Expo Boston, there were actually people that were actually already lined up for my panel. And I was like, what? I'm like rolling in and I see people lined up and I was like, what are you guys signed up for? And they said my panel name and I was like, oh, you're like, I'm not used to that. I'm like, don't mind me.
I love that. So I'm gonna go back for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's because, Yasmin, you don't know this, but I am not a cosplayer. I don't go to cons. I don't watch anime. I'm lucky if I know a Marvel between DC and Marvel. Which, God forbid, all you people coming at my neck. I'm sorry. But so, can you talk to me about like why cons? Like, what about cosplaying? Like, what is that? How does that bring out your joy?
So I noticed more and more that there are like quite a few neurodivergent people who do attend cons, and I picked up on that, especially in like Artist Alley, because I would see like, like the pins and the stickers and stuff like that. They would be like cute little neurodivergent things and little stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. So we're obviously realizing that like there's a lot of neurodivergent people who come in, and then when it came about, when I got my cervical cancer diagnosis, There was information on cervical cancer that I, at 34, did not know. And I was like, oh my God, okay, well, conventions is where people who are women who are like kind of in my range, sometimes younger, if I could like get that information out to them, maybe I could help prevent them from getting to that point. Because like my whole thing when wanting to help people is that like I know what it's like to like, you know, feel like in like a crappy setting and stuff. And I just don't want people, like, I know things are inevitable, life happens, but I just don't want like others to experience bad things if they can prevent it. So that's why I was like, well, conventions is the best spot to go. And then with cosplaying, where that comes in, with me and panels, I used to be a performer at Disney World. That's a side quest for another day.
No. We gotta talk about this.
Hold up. I love how you totally use con talk and said that's a side quest. And the only reason I know that is because Nana will be like, yeah, there's side quests. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me go change the movie right now. Let me go change the movie costume.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends at Disney World when I performed there. That were mice friends. Yeah. So like that whole thing of, you know, that's where cosplay kind of like just made me feel so comfortable because I'm like, well, I'm dressing up as a character and I want to embody that character. So mentally in my head, the reason why I am like okay with going out and publicly speaking is because it's like in my head, it's the character that they're seeing. Like when I say it out loud, I know it like may not make sense to others, but to me, it does make sense. And it kind of like is like a good it's like a good little like bravery barrier for me. So I feel more empowered in my cosplaying. So I was like, well, and there's so much about that I've learned along the way with my cosplaying that I've actually updated my stuff, a few things in my panel. So like I'll talk about like how like my fabrics need to be like done a certain way. Otherwise, like if it's not soft enough for me, I'm gonna get overstimulated. With my wigs, I want to make sure that these are my muffs that I wear at every convention. So I'll wear this, and then I'll also usually will wear earplugs underneath. And I always want to make sure that my wig is styled in a way so that these can fit over it without messing up the wig style. And if it can't, I get like really I get these earplugs that I like stick really like deep in, and it completely like muffs everything really well. But I also always like let people know like I'm doubled up, so it's like if you're really talking, you're very muffled. And like I always tell people too, like if you need my attention, you have to really get my attention because like I could literally like, and it's not even like that I'm purposely ignoring people. It's just that there's also so much to see around that I'm like, if somebody's like calling me and I'm not paying attention, I could be looking at you dead in the face, but I could really be looking at something that's off to your shoulder, and that's what I'm focused on. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
So, okay, I want to jump in here.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. For the listening audience, depending on where we are at in any moment in our day, we're acting as a character anyway. So whether I show up as a mother, whether I show up as a significant other to Nana, whether I show up as a coach, a motivational speaker, I've been many characters throughout the day. The difference is that some people are able to cultivate and really step into their power and their confidence in a costume or in a different character. But I think we're all playing characters. And for me, again, Yasmin, what I love about what you're sharing with the audience is you're doing what feels good for you. Like dressing up, that gives you confidence. Recognizing that you don't want to wear certain fabrics, that gives you confidence. I just literally ran home from a speaking engagement and I wore a strong thing with the pants to say comfort kills because that is how I feel good. And so when you give yourself permission to do what feels right for you, even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else, you are so beyond powerful.
Yeah, and that honestly in itself is what brings me joy. And like really what does also bring me joy is just knowing that I can help at least one person. Just because like this whole year, yeah, I'm very positive and uplifting and stuff like that, but that doesn't take away the negative side of what this year was to me. Like this past year was hard from getting my diagnosis in September of last year to where I am now. Like it was hard. I had a lot of extra therapy sessions with my therapist, and which I'm very open about. I go to weekly group therapy, and every 2 weeks, like 2 weeks, I meet with my one-on-one therapist, and like I love it. And it's just knowing that I can just help at least somebody, like that is what brings me joy, honestly. Because I feel like there really is truly so much darkness out there, and every single person does deserve to smile at least once a day. And if I could like be that little tiny spark for somebody, like that's what I like. That's what I like to do. And I like seeing people happy. I like seeing people succeed. Like Nana sees me all the time. I'm always like on his Instagram, like hyping him up. And it was awesome watching you at Fan Expo Boston during the red carpet thing, because like you were just there on the side hyping every single cosplayer up. And like that's amazing. Like that's so beautiful to me. And I just feel like positivity and kindness goes way further than anything else. And a lot of my every bad experience that I've been through in my life, I kind of take it as a life lesson and twist it into a positive way.
I love that. I'm gonna have Nana jump in real quick, and I have something to say.
No, I was gonna say first and foremost, like even at Fan Expo, that was super, super awesome because like I don't know, I'm the type of person that like it's the same that Rhode Island. Like if somebody's competing or whatever it is, yeah, I'm competitive, but I also understand when there's a time to be competitive and when it's time to root for someone and cheer somebody on, and not be petty about that. Like I loved seeing people excited about the walkway. I was like, this is your moment. Like go freaking enjoy it, yo. Like, and yeah, there was some people that were nervous about it, whatever it is, but you can see just them walking up, their confidence build as they got closer. And I remember at one point in the line, I just went up to a couple people. I'm like, you got this. Like, just do you. Just live in the moment. Like, just. And so I did my walkthrough, which is perfectly fine, which I was grateful for. But I just remember just like being excited to be like, yo, that's a dope ass outfit. And I was like high fiving people because like at the end of the day, we're all there to just geek out, just to be nerds about a certain fandom or just something that brings you a sense of happiness, whether it is your cosplay or whether it's your looking forward to getting a signature from a celebrity or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, that stuff brings me that sense of joy and happiness when you see somebody light up, their smile gets excited, like, oh shoot, like why is this dude in a Winnie the Pooh outfit like dapping me up? But it's the funniest stuff ever because it's like it doesn't make sense to the regular person, quote unquote, that's like doesn't know anything about cosplay and stuff like that. But that's just me in general. So like that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump in because I obviously have the mental health spin. I'm really, really passionate about helping people break free from like these constructed cages. And for the listening audience, I've studied neuroscience, quantum physics, and the biology of our brain, our habits, our beliefs. We're magnets. And so something that I'm really really big about talking about is if I extend acts of kindness and I'm joy filled, I'm going to attract kind people who are joy filled. If I focus on everything going on that doesn't align with that experience I want, then I'm going to attract negative energy. And so that's why I'm big about finding what brings you joy. Why I'm totally okay having a Skull for Business logo, having a boyfriend who wears dresses on dates, having people show up on our well, he dressed up as Dora the Explorer. But if you want to wear a dress, babe, I don't care.
It's coming back this year. We got you. I got you.
The whole point is, I recognize and something that you've clearly understood, Yasmin, is by extending acts of kindness, just even offering a smile or giving another person a tip or a trick that might help them along their cosplay journey or their neurodiverse journey, you're actually sending back positive energy to you because quantum physics says whatever you send out comes back to you.
So I'm a huge believer in that too. I very much believe that. Yeah. And it was very warming to me, especially in Fan Expo Boston when I did my panel there. There were parents that were in the audience and they came up to me after and they said how they were so appreciative of the information that I shared because they didn't really know how to get their child to be more comfortable going to cons and stuff like that. And it was really awesome. And then I was a volunteer cosplayer recently at Comic-Con Boston. And that was that's an awesome con that people should check out. It's geared for neurodivergent people and it's 100% completely sensory friendly, and it was like a beautiful experience. And I always bring fidget toys to every con that I go to purposely so I can hand them out to people. Because when I did my table in Rhode Island, I had fidget toys that I didn't want to sell. I wanted people to just take them for free. And I noticed that there were more and more people who were just so appreciative of the fidget toy. And I could tell that they were immediately stimming and they needed to get that out. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I had already by that point started bringing extra fidget toys to just give out for people who need it. But that really, after Rhode Island, that really motivated me to bring even more. So usually I have these fidget cubes that are 3D printed and everybody loves them. And I always give them out. And at Comic-Con Boston, it was so I was trying so hard not to cry because I was filled with so many happy tears to see all of these children who were so excited to just receive this tiny little fidget cube that I had made. And to see the parents reflect off of that and be so happy about that is what brought me the joy. And because to me that's helping. And I just want to help people out there as much as I can and just inspire people, especially who are neurodivergent, to own being neurodivergent and know that it's okay to literally just be your authentic self. And if you need to if you need to flap your hands and your arms, go ahead. Go ahead and do it. And I say that in my panel all the time, stim away. And every panel I do, I always give out fidget toys purposely. And I'll be in the panel myself with my cube in my hand at all times. And so that way it's they say that you're not alone, but when you first experience or learn about your diagnosis, and especially with what I went through when I got a back-to-back 2 life-changing diagnosis, I knew I wasn't alone, but at the same time I felt alone. And I felt so lost. And I felt like I fell into such a dark place. And it was like, well, I know I'm not alone. And, if I'm thinking these thoughts, there's probably other people who are feeling similar that I just don't know about. And that is really what motivated me to want to just push myself out of my turtle shell, as I like to think of it, and just like start talking. And because not a lot of people talk about that in the convention realm. Yes. And what I would love to do too one day is get on board with other conventions to add, especially the bigger ones, so that they add multiple quiet rooms. Just because last year at New York Comic Con, when I was in Matt Smith's line, I experienced a really bad meltdown and ended up passing out after I met Matt Smith. Oh my God, it was so bad. It was so bad. But I was on my way to the quiet room, and it was just like there were so many people to get through and stuff, and it just all crashed. And I was like thinking to myself, like, what if they had more than one quiet room? Because the Javits Center is so big. So like one day, like I would love it if like get in touch with them and like you can like tell them like, that's like definitely something that I would love to do. And like, I definitely want to talk to people more out there and like go to conventions and stuff. That's why like this past year, I was trying to do my panel as much as I possibly could, all up and down the East Coast, and just to try to help people. And that's all I want to do, really.
Go ahead, babe.
I was going to say, no, I love that, because I think going back to your point is people need to really see these things like in their own viewpoint, because to me being, not knowing anything about neurodivergent, I wouldn't have any idea of that stuff. So it's really like amazing. And I think, what you doing, what you're doing is inspiring the change in what needs to be done with like certain like communities, in all honesty. And what up, Brody? I see you. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing good. But no, I think it's just amazing, because like I would have had no knowledge of this prior before, and then like you were talking about, I'm like, that's some interesting thought process, because if you think about it, the Javits Center is ridiculously huge. First and foremost, that's like, everything's going on, so many different floors, this, that, and the third, and it's like, holy shoot, like I am stimulated, and I'm a quote unquote regular person. I don't have the diagnosis or anything like that. But even I myself, I'd be like, oh shoot, this is like a lot going on. I can't picture or put myself in a situation of somebody of your magnitude or things of that nature. But like I know that's like to an over extent. So I think getting in contact with the right people, and definitely I think you putting the word out there will definitely help shift the culture of what could be done to make it more, inclusive to people that are dealing with these challenges in life. You know what I mean?
I want to jump in and say a couple things. I feel, again, guys, I say this from love, but I have understood we try to fit people in a box, and we were created by creation, however you define that, to be an individual. And so truly in my mind, Yasmin, we're all neurodivergent, because I don't need the same things as you necessarily. Nana needs different things than me, but the really key point to all that is giving yourself permission to find out what works for you. And to your point, Yasmin, do it. I love big hoop earrings. I love, scratchy nails. But the thing is, I'm not afraid to do that. I won't go to cons on a regular basis, because I love people, but hell no. I don't want to mushed in like a sausage with all the people. I know what feels good. And so I love that you are speaking out for, really, I know that you say all of these people diagnosed with being neurodivergent, but I would venture to say it's a whole world, because when we can give people permission to just show up fully expressed, and if you need to hum to self-regulate, you hum in the sauna, which I do all the time, and kill it. Or if you need to, bring a fidget toy or a bouncy ball, you do that. Our daughters go to school, and they tried to tell my daughter that she needs to be tested for ADHD. I said, the hell you do. There was never a time that a human being, which is a species of animal in some sense, we are a mammal, you're meant to sit for 6 hours in front of a teacher yapping at us. No wonder you're like losing your mind and fidgeting, right? It's like giving yourself permission to do what's right for you. And it's not my job to worry about whether you understand me or not. It is my job to find what brings me joy, to find out the things that work for me, to, just like you, Yasmin, share those things because it might help somebody else out, but stay true to me. And that's like all beautiful. And I love that you and Nana are showing up in very different ways.
Correct.
But showing up in service to others by really giving yourself permission to be yourself.
Yeah. And it's awesome because everybody experiences things differently. And when I got the news of something that is so life-changing, it really did open my eyes to see how short life really is. And like, I know that like everybody says life is too short, and like, most people, we just brush it off your shoulder and don't think too far into it. But when I found everything out last year, I was like, wow, life really is too short to stay in like such a negative mindset. And when I like just started thinking more positively, and I and this is also like, I have to credit my therapist, because like we did a lot of like work of like really just changing my whole mindset of thinking more positively. And that's what put me in a healthier wavelength. And now since since January I've been cancer free, and like I've already thank you.
Pipe that up, bro.
Thank you. I've done 2. I've already had 2 checks already, and they both come back clear. I have like, it's just when you look out at it and you realize that you really aren't alone in this world, and this world definitely goes by so quickly. It's like, if I could just help somebody so that they don't experience what I had to go through in the slightest way, like that definitely, that thought brings me a lot of joy. And I just really, truly, any way that I can like help somebody, I definitely will. And, when I always like think about it, that like somebody definitely always has it worse out there than me. So it's like, if I could just be like that little beacon of light, that's awesome. And like, you'll see me at cons, like I'll be like all decked out like this with my cane too, because I have
you were K-pop Demon Hunter.
Yeah, and like so I have a long list of illnesses, but one of them is fibromyalgia, so that's why I walk around. Yeah, that's why I walk around with a cane, because it helps me with my balance, but it also like, I don't have to like, it just helps with my back and stuff. And it's just, I look a little different, but it's okay to be different. It's okay to just be authentically you. And I feel like this new version of myself like is like my favorite kind of version of myself ever. And like, I feel like I've never loved myself more than how I do right now.
Love language, girl.
Oh my god. Yo, this is crazy. And not to cut you off, Yasmin, because like literally Kerri asked me earlier this week while we were driving, babe, where were we heading to? We're heading to like
Patriots game, baby.
yeah.
Yes,
And
thanks.
so we're heading to the
Talk
Patriots
about
game.
that.
I'll dress up as Where's Waldo because why not? And babe was like, "What do you love about yourself?" And I thought about it. I was like, I don't get asked that question often. Like it was just one of those like, what do I love about myself? And I was like, I love a lot about myself, but that's not something that comes up. And I said a couple of things. I was like, I love the way that like I care for people that I cherished. You know what I mean? I love the way that my work ethic is. I love the way that I can just be myself. And, all these things started rolling off my lips. And it let me know, I'm like, damn, I don't hear that often. And I'm just me. Like, imagine the people that aren't in that mindset to ask that question. Imagine what they're going through when you ask them that type of question. So it was actually pretty cool. And I think I'll eventually just like, I might have to borrow it from you, babe, and put it like
I
a
hope you do.
like
I do hope you do because
Yeah.
here's the thing. If I'm gonna give everybody out there some homework if you so choose. I encourage you to do this because awareness, once you become aware, you can make a different choice. But most people, they're not even aware. And so I encourage everybody to just examine how often they tear themselves down. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I can't. And then be aware of how often you lift yourself up. Let me just tell you, I am my most favorite person. You can ask Nana. Me and him are great supports to each other.
Correct.
But I'm going to tell you right now, I was at the gym today going through a hard workout. I was in the middle of a room and I was like, yes, queen, you got this. Because I'm not going to take myself down anymore. And as I lift myself up, I'm giving other people permission to lift them up. And again, if we're magnets, we're attracting people, and not for nothing, I want to attract people who love themselves. Because if you're busy loving yourself, you're too busy to send hate out into the world.
Yes.
I gotta tell you, I don't have a lot of hate in my world. There are people who don't understand me and might not vibe with me, but like I don't see a world filled with hate. I have so many people who literally show up and do the most amazing acts of kindness. I'm gonna shout out Bombshell Becky because she out of her way to make Nana a sticker so that he can bring to New York Con. We have people who showed up at me and Nana's event who were driving from all over to make a present because their kindness. And so I'm gonna show up and love myself because when I love myself, other people are gonna love me and love themselves too.
Correct.
Yeah, and what I love about like traveling this whole past year is that I've met so many different people of so many different walks of life, and it's just they're so kind, and I very much believe that kindness will always go way further than any hatred ever will, and it's just you never know, like the tiniest act of kindness, even just a smile at somebody can literally change their whole entire day. And that's why, like, for my birthday, my birthday this past August, literally I was like, I don't want any presents for anybody, like literally just do an act of kindness, like even if it's just holding a door open for somebody, like just hold the door open. Yeah, so it's truly important to just be as kind as you can be, and because I mean it's free. Yeah, hatred is free too, but I mean kindness is gonna bounce out and send out so many great vibes a lot further than anything else out there. And
Can I jump in? I want to cut you off because I'm curious about something. Because you did share with the listening audience that it's been a hard year, right? And the reality is I think anybody who really shows up in kindness, we all go through the wars. Like I've had my trials and tribulations. Nana has faced really big hardships. But it's a choice. And every day I have a choice, right? And every day I have to make that choice. It's not a one and done. Every day I have to decide, am I going to feel victimized by my circumstance or am I going to be empowered? Am I going to choose to be kind to this individual who maybe isn't so nice to me? Or am I going to meet their energy and be unkind to them? And it's moment by moment choices. So what has driven you to make those choices and do the work? Because honestly, I know from my own life, and I know from Nana, because Nana and I talk about it a lot, we have to make that choice over and over and over again sometimes, especially when we do bump into harder things that we have to face.
Correct.
I just think that for me, it's like when I go through so many like dark and hard times, I know even though I may feel alone in that moment, I know I'm not alone. And that thought alone is what truly motivates me to want to help people, because I don't want them to experience the darkness or the pain or anything like that. And I know life happens. It's inevitable. I can't save the whole world. I'm well aware of that. But if I could, just help somebody out there, that's one more person that I helped, and that brings me true utter joy. Like I don't know how else to really truly explain it.
Yeah.
Really.
What about you, Spider-Man?
You know what? So I mean, we were at Texas Roadhouse yesterday, just eating food, and we met this gentleman by the name of Jeff.
Jeff, that was the best.
He was from what, New Jersey, babe?
New Jersey, baby.
Yes, and he was kind of like, he's like, hey, how's the air over here? And Worcester's not as bad as what most people make it seem. Worcester is a regular ass town, just like how every town has their own, pros and cons to it. And we're like, you are perfectly fine. You're perfectly safe. And it was awesome because we just met a total stranger, just started shooting the stuff with him. But he has, grandkids. He has a wife. He has children. Like, it was really cool because we got to know him just from just having a regular conversation. And I think that's the thing, is that he felt seen because he's not from here. So he's sitting at the bar by himself. And Kerri and I are over next to him playing cards and shit. And somehow, like, didn't he have a tattoo on his hand that had like a king or something like that?
He had a king, yep.
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting how it all transpired, because it just was like a regular conversation, but started connecting the dots to it. And it was just really beautiful. And then I was like, oh, well, we're heading to New Jersey in like November. And he knew exactly where we're heading to. It was just the most like, it was one of those like serendipity moments, I guess you can call it. And it was just like, we all just happened to be converging at the same spot, not knowing that we were going to impact his life as much as he impacted our life. And I remember Kerri does this thing where we talk about before we go to bed, what's your best grateful? And that was one of my moments. That was one of my best ones, because it was just like a sporadic, just casual conversation. And it was just cool to just get to know the person as him just being him. So I think that's the positivity. When you start putting the positivity out, people will gravitate towards you. That's why I'm able to do the stuff that I do at cons. Like I'll walk into a con and not know anybody, but sometimes I'll just make friends off the fly and just like, oh shoot, what the heck? And they're like, oh, you were at this con, and it kind of connects the dots. And I think that's the part that I really, really try to put out there, that like I'm just me, and the energy that I put out, people will see that. They can see that from afar, and you don't have to be. Even freaking Steve Wonder could probably see your energy from where it's at, and he's blind. So
you know what? No, but that's real talk right there. You know what I mean? And it really is a choice. But I'm gonna say a quote which I love, and it's by Khalil Gibran, who was a Persian poet, who says, "Just as you're crowned with love, you're crowned with struggle." Essentially. And really what that means is, yeah, we are gifted challenges because it's meant to help us expand. It really is. If we don't experience hardship, then how do we know what we don't like? If I'm not in a room with people who want me to conform and I feel icky sticky, how am I going to know, oh, this ain't the room for me? I need to dip and go elsewhere. But it's just giving yourself the permission to do that. And as you do that, you raise your vibration. And so for the listening audience, like, this is how nerded out, like, Nana and Yasmin, they're nerds in the cause world. I'm a nerd about hacking your brain, about experiencing joy. I'm going to tell you right now, we are energetic vibrations. And the more you give yourself permission to do what feels right for you, then the more you are raising your energy, the more you're going to attract positive things, the more that you will start to see your life feel easier and more joy filled. And so it's really important, for that. And then I do want to highlight, Nana and I, at the end of our nights, we say, what two things we have two of our best parts of the day, and we're grateful. And I hear a lot of people say, well, we do best, grateful, and worst part of your day. The best, grateful, and what didn't work out.
Man.
The problem with that is you're feeding negativity. But instead, why not go to right before bed, go to bed and think about the amazing things. You know you're going to bed happy, and then you're waking up happy, and you're just going to keep rolling into the happy train.
Well said.
And something that was really important to me to really like break out of my barrier of like public speaking is definitely I wanted to show other people that it's in the cosplay world, like it's okay to like cosplay, and your cosplay doesn't need to be perfect either. You own it, and that's what you created. Cosplay is art to me, and it's what you make of it. And when I was out there, I also wanted other people to just be like, I'm going to be me. And that's why, like, at my panels, I always have like my fidget toy, and I'll like read from my phone with my notes. Cause like, I just want to be a regular person, and I don't want other people to like think of me like as like a robotic or anything like that. Like, this is what I look like. This is me. This is who I am. Like, you know, and I want other people who are neurodivergent to be more comfortable in their skin, because it's rough out there.
Yes.
It's really
okay
rough.
with you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Something you said, Yasmin, is Nana does like his take on cosplay. He wears a ton of Under Armour stuff. Shout out to Under Armour,
by the way. They gotta get
No,
the
he
boy
does.
out.
But the point is I've said to him before, oh, why don't you do this, and this? He's like, nah, babe, I'm gonna do it my way. They can do it their way. I'm gonna do it mine.
Correct.
And I love that, because he me. He's like, don't get me wrong, I love the Beckys and the Kaysons and the Alex's and all these people who do these elaborate, amazing things. And yet I am so cool and good with getting a regular Under Armour outfit and making it so it works for my cosplay.
And what I like to do with my cosplay, so like this past year, I've been creating every single Rio Vidal look from Agatha all along. And every look that I have done, I tweak it just a tiny little bit so that it just shows a little spark of me in it. And it's not anything super big or noticeable or anything like that. And in some cases, like you don't even know that it's there, but I know that it's there. Yeah. And it's just like a little memento to just like be like, this is me and I made this. And I'm proud of like my whole work. And the show Agatha all along like means literally the world to me, because it was the show that I watched 24/7 during my whole cancer journey. I went through 2 surgery treatments, and 24/7 that is what brought me joy. That is what kept me from not thinking bad thoughts, and it kept me from not focusing on the negatives of the cancer. And what motivated me is the drive that Agatha and Rio have to just like always go after what they want and just like don't stop. And that is what motivated me so much to keep fighting this cancer. And now I'm blessed to be cancer free, and I'm blessed to have 2 checks that have come back in the clear. And you know, it's just
amazing.
People have to be people just have to be reminded that like it's just keep fighting, because like you'll find like joy in it. Like it's so weird how that sounds, but if you like, there will be joy from it, if that makes sense. Correct. You know, because the more effort that you're like putting in and the more that you're trying, it's gonna come out positive for you, and the more positive energy you put out, it's gonna come back to you.
Well, going back to your point, babe and Yasmin, cosplay wise, right? I always tell people, I am the cosplay. I just wear the outfits are just the outfits. Like I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, and I was like, I can dress up in a grocery bag and be the fucking coolest grocery bag you've ever met. But
And
that's because
a lot of people would like Nana dressed in a grocery
nah,
bag.
we actually PG for the little ones. But like literally, like it just shows because cosplay, and the biggest thing is the play part, right? Like costume and then
Yeah.
playing is
And that's
like
what I love the most about it.
that's what it should be about, and it shouldn't. Be like, I get it, like if somebody wants to make an elaborate thing, then shout out to you, but make sure you're getting that sense of joy out of it too. That's the biggest thing, because it's like if you're just doing it for just some kind of motive that's just like unforeseen, and it's just like it's taken away from who you are and taken away from the joy that brings you, then you're not cosplaying. You're just cos working at it. I guess you could say you're just literally
Yeah.
you're just chasing some kind of expectation that maybe it's achievable or maybe it's just not achievable, and then people get down on themselves. And I'm like, dude, the biggest thing is you're supposed to just enjoy this thing for what it is. Enjoy the journey of it. Like I'm at the point where I realized that like my sense of like power in the cosplay community is literally just being me. Because like I walk into a room and I'm just like, yo, what's going on, guys? What we got going on over here? It's like you've seen the Avengers with a scene where Captain America is like in the elevator and he's like, so anybody want to head out before I
Yes.
that's like
Yes.
but that's the energy that I put out there, and I think that's what I realized is my power in the cosplay community, is that I'm able to transmute that positivity towards anybody that I interact with. If somebody's going through a shit moment, I'm like, okay, bro, well, let's keep it going. Like, let's figure this shit out. Like,
Yeah.
pushing forward.
I'm very, very much on the same wavelength, and when at the end of the day, we're just people who like to dress up, and like that's like such like an awesome, like relatable thing. And when you really like break it down and you think about it, like everybody, however many people can fit into the Javits Center, that's like a whole bunch of nerds that literally love to dress up. Like that's insane. And that's like so cool at the same time, and just like own your cosplay however you want to do it, whether it's store bought or whether it's a bunch of like, I don't know, like foam pieces like that. You just own it. Like I have one of my new cosplays that I'll be debuting in New York Comic Con. It's literally 2 stacks held together by a magnet. Like that I sewed in. Like it's wild when you put all the effort into it and stuff and you see it come to creation. And it's like be proud of that, because you made that. It's like and I will sometimes get self-doubt and stuff, but then I like remind myself, like, no, this is what I made. This is my own art. Like, this isn't somebody else's art. This is my art that I made, and I want to be proud of that.
Exactly.
I love that. So we have 2 minutes.
Correct.
So with that 2 minutes, first off, Yasmin, you're welcome to join us again. I love your energy.
That's so great.
Yeah,
y'all are amazing.
Again, like energy attracts like energy. But is there any one, I don't know, pivotal message, thought that you want to share with the listening audience that might be a good tool for them to lean into so that they can experience more joy in their life?
Just never forget that kindness, it costs nothing to be kind. That's literally like, if you go on any of my socials, you'll see like I have it in somewhere in my bio or somewhere on my page. It costs nothing to be kind. And also it's so beautiful to be your authentic self, no matter what that is. That is beautiful. And don't forget that. Like,
I love that. And I'm going to just jump in a little bit because of the work I do with people.
Yes.
It costs nothing to be kind to yourself. And that's the key point that I and Nana are big about is, we extend acts of kindness towards others. But when you stop to realize how you talk to yourself, you recognize that you really are unkind. So choose to be kind to yourself. And when you are kind to yourself, to Yasmin's point, being authentic comes easily, because I gotta tell you, whether you like me or not, I love myself and I'm rolling deep. So
And like I always like tell people I'm like the weird gremlin in the shadows, but I love being the weird gremlin in the shadows. Like
all right, babe, you get the final words tonight. What you gotta leave the audience with?
I mean, first and foremost, I just want to shout out to Rhode Island Comic Con for really giving me the opportunity to showcase what I get to bring to cons. And also want to shout out to Anime New Jersey as well as Convivial Fest, who have done it, a great job just having me there. So like me personally, I'm in a great mindset, and I have some cool stuff coming up this year. And also I want to invite this opportunity to also anybody that comments on here, whatever it is, if you guys ever do want to join, message me, and that way I can send you a link so that you can also join in and have your own space to talk about stuff that brings you the joy that Yasmin was able to talk about. And I met Yasmin just on the fly, and here we are now. Like I was like, yo, you should join our show, and she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, like. And here we are. So this has been amazing, and I just am grateful for it. And it really like set the tone of like, I'm excited. I'm gonna go watch anime in a few and save the city apparently because the city needs me. I hear the cops. I hear the cops out there.
Until next time, guys. This is episode 29 of the Bright Side Chronicles with Nana Agyemang, aka Ask for Nana, and then Kerri Lewis and Yasmin Lee. Make sure you guys like, follow, support Yasmin.
Appreciate y'all.
And we will check you on the flip
Thank
side.
You, thank you, Poppy C.
Bye, guys. Thank you.